Hi, my name's Nick Smith, and this is my global experience. When I visited Northeastern on spring break my junior year of high school, I immediately knew that Northeastern was my number one choice. What had attracted me was the co-op program and the importance of experiential learning. So when it came time to apply in the fall of senior year, I tried to do everything I could to get in, including writing a letter to the admissions office. When the day finally came for Northeastern to release their admission decision, I was so nervous, thinking that I wouldn't know what to do if I did not get in. When I opened the letter, I saw the congratulations and immediately was filled with excitement. However, as I kept reading the letter, I saw that I had been admitted into the NUN program. I had heard a lot about this program and that some kids are sent away for their first semester before they matriculate into Northeastern in the spring. At first, and for a fair amount of time, I wasn't sure how I felt because I thought it meant I was not quite good enough to get right into Northeastern. However, the more I talked about it with my friends and family, I began to realize that this was actually a great opportunity for me to expand my cultural horizons and have an experience that most freshmen in college would never have the opportunity to do. After deciding that this is indeed what I wanted to do, I had to choose where I wanted to go. Of all the choices, England was my top choice because London is one of the financial centers of the world, and that is what I was hoping to study at Northeastern. As it came within a few weeks and then days of when we had to leave for England, I began to realize that this would be a big change in my life. This was a little sad for me, but I was ready to embrace the change for what it was and see the positives of this opportunity. I packed my bag and I was off for London. The day we arrived in London, I was exhausted but enthusiastic to begin my adventure that would continue for the next 3 months. On the ride to the residence hall, I was excited to see all that would be my home and my classroom. For the next semester, I would be living and going to school in the Royal Borough of Kensington in Chelsea, home to the famous Kensington Palace. This upper-class borough, located just outside central London, is home to many small shops and convenience stores, including my favorite, the Sandwich Roll. Also in this area is Hyde Park, a great place to go and enjoy the Saturday afternoon and maybe a game of football. When we finally arrived at the residence hall, I found my room, settled in, and began to plan for my semester ahead. After a few days of orientation and settling in, we went to the Houses of Parliament. There, I was able to stand where the Queen proceeds into Parliament, imagining what it would be like to be able to stand just a few feet away as the Queen made her way into the hall. We also went into the House of Lords, where I was able to sit exactly where the Lord sat, making me feel like a powerful member of the British Parliament. Finally, we saw the House of Commons, a forbidden room to the Queen, but where the members of Parliament gathered to vote on issues. A week after arriving in London, we began our classes. This semester, I would take Islam in the West, college writing, microeconomics, global experience, and one of the most interesting classes, British life and cultures. The great thing about British life and cultures is that every Friday we would go on field trips to places such as the British Museum that housed the famous Elgin marbles and the Rosetta Stone, as well as the Greenwich Maritime Museum, the Tower of London, the Bank of England, where I got to hold a real gold bar, and one of my personal favorites, the Museum of London, where I learned about all the major events that happened throughout London's history. Part of our global experience was service learning. Once a week for 8 weeks, we would go out into the community and try to make it a better place and connect with the local population. Every Wednesday from 10 to 12:30, I would take the tube from Gloucester Road to Waterloo, where I worked in the Waterloo Millennium Green, cleaning up the park and making it a more friendly place for the local population. At times this was difficult physical labor, but I was able to meet new people and learn about a different culture, making it all the worthwhile. Throughout the semester, NUN provided excursions, including my favorites, Stonehenge and the White Cliffs of Dover. Seeing how big and geometrical the stones were up close was an experience I'd always looked forward to, not to mention getting away from the city and out into the countryside for a change. Before coming, I told myself I was going to get to the coastline to see the big cliffs and rolling bluffs, so I jumped at the chance to go to Dover. Although it was raining and windy, it was still just like I imagined it, with vast coastline and land that stretched for miles. Towards the end of the semester, we were able to take a trip up to Scotland, where I climbed up to Arthur's Seat and was also able to see Edinburgh Castle. This was an experience I would never forget. Spending my first semester in London was an experience that I am so thankful for. It made me realize just how much there is to explore and gave me the opportunity to step out of my comfort zone. While there were times that I really missed home, I think that this experience made me appreciate the people that are in my life and have allowed me to have opportunities such as this one.